Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today, this is going to be later than I was hoping for, but it's officially been 1 year since Marvel's Spider-Man 2 released, so I thought it'd be a great time to finally rank all the Insomniac Spider-Man games. I'm also going to try something a bit different when it comes to how I'm going to end up editing this video. We'll see how it turns out. Hopefully it turns out good. But yeah, so since it's been a year, I thought we'd give it a shot at ranking the Insomniac Spider-Man games. So let's get started. So first, before we even start, I do want to mention a couple things. One, I decided not to include the DLC, the Stay It Never Sleeps DLC for Marvel's Spider-Man 1, just because it's not a full game, it's DLC. If I were to include it in the ranking, it would be at number 4, it'd be at the bottom. Because even though I do really enjoy the DLC, and I think the DLC is great, it's not nearly as strong as the games, as either 3 games. But I do still enjoy it. Also, even though there is going to be a last place and stuff like that, I want you to keep in mind, even the one in last place, I love all 3 of these games. There actually isn't a single game that in this franchise that I don't like, at least not yet, and I don't think they ever will. As of right now, I love all 3 games. Even the one in last place, so when you see the one in last place, don't think I don't like it. Alright, I guess we should just get started. So, I'm not even gonna say in last place, because you know, I don't like saying it's in last place. But, in number 3, technically last place, I got Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Yeah, like I said, I don't like having this in last place because I love this game. I love the atmosphere of this game. I love the Christmas time feel. I love that takes place during Christmas time. I love the snow is awesome. The Christmas decorations, it makes me really enjoy swinging around in this game, even with Marvel Spider-Man 2 out now. Like sometimes I'll just feel like swinging around in Miles because of the snow and the Christmas feel. And that's one of the things I love about this game. And also, I just think it tells a great story, a great Miles Morales solo story that has emotion at its core with the villain and the Tinkerer. I know a lot of people have problems with the Tinkerer and why it's not a perfect character, but I still really enjoy it, and I'll enjoy the story she had with Miles. I love how it really is Miles coming to his own, realizing that he is Spider-Man. And also they did a great job making it, because this is the first time that we get to play as Miles. Well, with spider powers. Technically we played as him in Marvel Spider-Man 1 without powers. But with this being our first time playing as him with powers, it's so cool how they made him feel different with his swinging, with his powers too, with his style of fighting. I like that they did that. And then also, I really enjoy the side missions. I love how it makes you feel like a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I love this game so much. I don't know why it's in last place. It's just, I can't really explain to you why it's in last place, because it's not just because it's short. Because yes, it is the shortest of the 3 games, but I think that works great in its benefit for multiple reasons. One, I think it is a good idea. I like how it's kind of like a shorter, smaller spin-off game to the main franchise. Yes, it is technically their second installment into this franchise, but it really is a spin-off. You could say it's a sequel, but I call it a spin-off and not a sequel. I know I even think what's his name, Brian Intihart, I think, the guy who's like the head of creative, has said that he views this as Spider-Man 2. To me, no, this isn't Spider-Man 2. This is Miles 1. We had Peter Parker 1, this is Miles 1, and then we got Peter Parker 2. And I really hope we get a Miles Morales 2. I hope so. I think it'd be awesome. Maybe have him train still. I'm just saying. She was introduced at the end of the 2. And we're not talking about the future, we're talking about the past, because we're talking about these games and how awesome they are. And like I said, I think it being short actually works to advantage. It works for the story being told. It works with it being a spin-off. Also, it makes it a lot easier to replay. Because, I won't lie to you, I really like replaying this one during Christmas time. And it'd be a lot harder to do if it was a long game. But because it is a shorter game, it's pretty easy to just put it on during Christmas time and start swinging around, playing through the story again. and enjoying it once more. Yeah, I really like this game. I can't really tell you why it's in last. I just think that it might be a weaker story, or at least I think that it just doesn't have as like crazy moments in it that just make me like there aren't any super standout moments in this game. The whole game is good, but outside, well, even that's not true, because I feel like the Finn Tinker versus Miles was like really good, and so is the ending. I love the ending of the game as well. But I feel like I just slightly prefer the ones higher up, including at number 2, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Yeah, I still have it at number 2. Yeah, so now this game is so complicated. It's now been 1 year since this game has released, and people are so divided on it now. It feels like they didn't used to be either. When the game first came out, it was pretty agreed upon. This game is a 10 out of 10, amazing, fantastic, spectacular. But now people have like turned on the game, being like, this game is terrible, one of the worst games ever, this game is trash. And I feel like it's very extreme. Now, yes, I have to admit, 1 year later, the problems are a bit more obvious now that all the hype has died down. Some huge problems with the story, mostly feeling like it's obvious that the game was rushed because of the fact that we get 2 acts, which is pretty much focusing on Kraven and his hunt, and then we get a 3rd act which feels very rushed with Venom and the symbiote invasion, that it either could have been 2 separate games or the game could have been longer. Almost like maybe instead of 3 acts, maybe have gone with 4 acts, like have 2 acts of Venom, maybe. I don't know exactly how they could have done it, but I think they either could have made the game longer, or they could have made it 2 games. And that's going for someone, I actually do prefer shorter games, mostly because I like being able to replay the story mode. Because I like to re-experience the story, and it's a lot harder to do that when the story is super long. So like even games like Marvel's Midnight Suns, which I love that story, I think it's great. I have not replayed it because it's just so long, and I don't have the time to replay it all yet, especially when there's other games I want to get to. But like Marvel Spider-Man 2, I replayed the story twice at this point because it is on the shorter side and it's easy to replay. Heck, the whole platinum was pretty quick and easy as well, which I personally like. But you can tell that the story kind of suffers from it being on the shorter end, because it feels like 2 different stories, 2 chapters that, yes, they do connect because of the symbiote being on Peter, which also feels very short. Like, it feels like he should have had the symbiote for a lot longer than he did. I think with Venom, like, it feels like the moment the symbiote gets back on Venom, he just goes crazy, when it feels like they didn't do enough to build up to it. So there are some big problems in the story in that regard. But here's the thing. I still love this game. I still think that the story is really enjoyable. I love these versions of Peter and Miles, so seeing them again is already an amazing treat, which is awesome. The gameplay is way better than the previous games, with the swinging like you see here, as well as I think the combat is still pretty good. It is very similar, but still, if it ain't broke, I do wish they did stealth a bit better. They did not do that very well, but that, maybe the 3rd game, hopefully. But yeah, I still really like this game. I really like the story. I think Venom is cool. A lot of people didn't like how Harry was Venom. I was perfectly fine with that. Like I said, it was just a bit too rushed. When we actually got to play as Venom, it was awesome and so cool, and I was not really expecting that. So overall, I still think this game is great, even 1 year later, even if the flaws are a bit more obvious with the hype now have died down. And obviously you see the placement, it is a much weaker story than what's number 1, which you already know it's number 1, but still. But I still have it over Miles Morales, just because this game hit me way harder in the feels than Miles did. Now, I'm not saying Miles didn't hit me in the feels. Miles surprisingly did hit me in the feels with the death of Finn, which was unexpected. And I won't lie to you, when Miles comes out with his suit, with the song playing, I'm Ready, goosebumps. But this game had multiple moments that hit me hard. The entire Miles versus Martin Lee boss fight, cutscene, actual boss fight, was just amazing, and it brought tears, gave me goosebumps. That final fight with Venom gave me goosebumps. The ending where we thought Harry was gonna die may have brought some tears. When we go into Peter's mind and we see how he's still grieving over the loss of Aunt May, brought tears. Like this game just hit. I was constantly on an emotional roller coaster, even if the story itself wasn't very well paced. The fact that it just still hit me so hard in the feels, giving me goosebumps, making me laugh, making me cry, puts it at number 2. But it's still not nearly as good as number 1, because at number 1 we have the original Marvel's Spider-Man. From I am including the PS4 2018 version, as well as the PS5 2020 remaster, because they really are the same game, just one has a bit better graphics and a new face, which I'm still not a fan of. But yeah, that's right, the first game. Now here's the thing about this game too, is that I do feel like Miles Morales and the sequel have improved on so many things that are much better than this game. I think the open world of those games, like the swinging and the side missions, I think are better. I think that the graphics are better. Even on the remaster here, I think they're a bit better in the future games. There's so many things that are better and improved when it comes to the sequel games, but this to me still has the best story. I love the story that they told was actually, I feel like they probably should have done this with a sequel too, because this game, they promote Martin Lee, Mr. Negative, as the main villain. In all the trailers and all of the marketing, they promote Mr. Negative as the main villain, and they don't show Dr. Octavius in any of it. It's not until you play the game that you realize who the real main villain is. That was a great twist, and Martin Lee, I think, was such a great, well-done villain also, where you understood where he was coming from, even if he is wrong, and where you care about him, but you also know he has to be stopped. Same thing with Otto Octavius. That the way they do that, because throughout the game they make you hope and wish that he doesn't turn into the Dr. Octopus that we all know, because of how likable he is, how relatable he could be, and how close him and Peter are. It makes you hope that, oh man, don't turn evil, and then when he does, it's just heartbreaking. We get to fight the Sinister Six, which I thought was really cool. I think this game is paced also greatly, where it does have that weird thing too, where the first 2 acts are really focused on Mr. Negative, and then when we jump into the 3rd act, that's when it turns into Sinister Six, specifically Dr. Octavius. But it feels perfectly paced. The 3rd act doesn't feel rushed. The first 2 acts don't feel drawn out. It feels great. This story, this is also, I'm pretty sure, the first video game that actually made me cry, because that ending with the death of Aunt May is just heart-wrenching. Peter has to choose, where Doc Ock releases the Devil's Breath and it infects Aunt May, and you finally get the cure, but Aunt May is in a terrible position. You have to choose if you're gonna, well, you don't get to choose, so that would have been very interesting if they made you choose, the player choose, but they don't. It's a cutscene where Peter has to choose whether he wants to give the cure to Aunt May to save her life, or don't cure her. That way it can be used to cure the rest of the city, which, even though we all know, at least I would probably have chosen Aunt May, but we all know that Aunt May didn't want that. Aunt May wanted Peter to use it to save the city instead of her. So Peter makes probably the hardest choice ever and chooses to keep the cure to save the city, and Aunt May dies. And it's so heart-wrenching, especially because they do a great job at making you like this version of Aunt May, showing how important she truly is to Peter's life. And it's Aunt May. You can't kill off Aunt May. They did. And I did not see it coming the first time playing this game, so I was shocked. It was just, it was so emotional. I'm pretty sure I cried from that moment on until the credits rolled when playing through the first time. And even on my second, third, fourth, and I'm pretty sure fifth replay of this game. Yeah, I've replayed this game, the story mode, at least a lot because of how much I love it. And I cry every single time, even though I try so hard not to. It's just not possible. And then also, I remember just jumping into the game for the first time. It was just such an amazing experience, being the best Spider-Man game we probably had up to this point. I know a lot of people argue that the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2 based game might be better. I sadly missed out on that because I wasn't around when the PS2 was a thing. I was around for the PS3, so past that one, I still would like to get PS2 and get that game to try it one day. We'll see, maybe one day. But still, not counting that game, which I haven't gotten the chance to play yet. Best Spider-Man game out there. It's just such an amazing experience. Smooth transitions from I remember the first transition from the cutscene to the gameplay when I first saw it was like, whoa, that was crazy. That was PS4. PS5 now, it blows it out of the water, but still, that first experience. And I won't lie, I think there is a lot of nostalgia with this game now. Is 6 years long enough to be nostalgic? I'm gonna say yes. First of all, 2018 was just such a great year, I feel, for Marvel in general. I mean, 2018, we got Avengers Infinity War, we got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and we got this game. It was amazing. I wasn't originally planning on taking down this guy, but we're so close, might as well do some Spider-Man things while trying to talk about Spider-Man. That's going to be hard, but we're going to do it, maybe. Oh, there we go. I forgot that this one has to pick time. Anyway, like I was trying to say, hopefully... Okay, I'm sorry, I'm distracted now. Anyway, like I was trying to say...
Glad I stopped that. Too many crazy drivers in the city as is.
Continuing on with the nostalgia of this game, it's the first video game I actually got the collector's edition for. With the so it was the first ever statue I actually ever had, and it was just the coolest thing ever. It was also the first game I actually ever platinumed, and the game I think I've been the most hyped for like ever. Like even the sequel, I wasn't as hyped for as I was for this game, and I was hyped out of my mind for the sequel. So can you just imagine how hyped I was for this? I think it helps that it was like announced like what 2016 and released in 2018. Maybe no, wait, 2017 I think it was announced. No, it wasn't. It was 2016 I think. Whatever. It was announced a long time ago, and I just could not wait throughout all those years of waiting. The closer we got, the more excited I got, and so yeah, this game to me is not just probably the best Insomniac Spider-Man game. I won't lie, I'm not sure if Insomniac could beat it. I mean, they could, because I really did have to debate. I went back and forth on which games I liked more than the other. For a time, I was debating if I preferred this or Marvel Spider-Man 2, and then a year passed, and then I was just debating if I preferred Miles Spider-Man 2 or Miles Morales. This is my current ranking, although it could change. And whenever the Spider-Man 3 comes out, I'm not sure if I will like it more than this one or not. It's possible, but even then, not with how much nostalgia I have for it now after 6 years. When Spider-Man 3 comes out in another, let's be honest, probably 5 years, the nostalgia is probably going to be even more crazy, making it #1 still, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, this game is not just my favorite Insomniac Spider-Man game, it is also one of my favorite games of all time. Not just favorite comic book game, not just favorite Spider-Man game, favorite video game of all time. Now I know some people are probably going to argue, like, what about the Arkham games? Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, maybe even Arkham Knight. I love those games. They're also some of my favorite games of all time, but as a Spider-Man fan, this was a dream come true. I also loved how they decided to take... They also decided to go with an older Peter Parker this time around. With... I forget how old he is specifically. I think I can look. I think he's in his 20s. With him now being 23, which at the time when this game came out was actually very rare. They always made Peter Parker young. So it was only this and Into the Spider-Verse, but Into the Spider-Verse was Miles Morales' movie. This was still Peter Parker's game. So the fact that they went with older Peter Parker, I thought was a great decision, making it different. And yeah, I love this game, one of my favorite games ever. I love all 3 games, but this one is my favorite. But tell me, guys, what's your ranking of the 3 Insomniac Spider-Man games? Which one's your favorite? Which one's your least favorite? How do you feel about these games? Do you love them as much as I do, or do you think they're very overrated? And like Spider-Man 2, are you on the side of it's the greatest game ever? Are you on the side of it's absolute trash? And if you're on that side, you're wrong. Or are you more like me, where it's good, but it has problems? And same thing with Miles Morales and this game here. Anyway, thanks so much for taking time to watch this video. I hope you like it. Please like, subscribe. Also, in case you're wondering, I did live stream Marvel Spider-Man 2 story and some of the side missions, and did a review talking just on that game, so you can check that out. It's all in a playlist. I can link it in the video. Happy 1-year anniversary to Marvel Spider-Man 2. Happy 6-year anniversary, late, but still, for Marvel Spider-Man 1. And soon it'll be the 4-year anniversary of Miles Morales come November. It's crazy. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.